Ricky Skaggs called and invited you to join Boone Creek. What went through your mind at that very moment? Was it something you were expecting, or did it come out of the blue?
Well, it definitely wasn't anything that I was expecting, that's for sure. Um, the thing about the country grass band, uh, I met a lot of people doing the sessions with that band. I
Mhm.
met Ricky during the session, and I met Tom Gray during the session. He was on a couple of cuts, and I met some very heroes of mine during that session. Of course, Herschel was a hero to all these people.
Mhm.
So they, when given the opportunity to record on the album, they said yes. And I had met Ricky through that and at some festivals, talking and jamming. And I was definitely surprised. I knew that the New South had split,
Mhm.
and I'd heard that he was going to do something different. But it was a surprise to me. And to say I was thrilled is an understatement. It's one of the best times of my life as far as playing music.
Mhm. All right. How did it feel to be surrounded by such remarkable musicians? And what was the musical chemistry like within the group?
It was amazing. Um, I'll never forget the time when I got the call to go try out with the band.
Mhm.
Terry Baucom had already uh, been contacted, and he was supposed to be a part of the band. Well, me and Terry, we they grew up together playing music at fiddlers conventions in the North Carolina, Virginia area. So we were real close friends. Had played music together for years and jammed together for years.
Mhm.
So it was one of the special moments for me to be able to do it with him. And the people that surrounded that group, of course, you had Jerry and Ricky and Terry and me, and we went through 2 or 3 different bass players, but they were all
Mhm.
just remarkable musicians. And as you can imagine, it was a special feeling to be able to go on stage with that band, knowing what you were going to hear.
Great. Thank you. Looking back now, Boone Creek is often seen as one of the most distinctive and forward thinking bands to emerge from the second generation of bluegrass musicians. In your own words, how would you define what Boone Creek was and what made it stand out?
Well, everybody that was in Boone Creek were rooted back in the traditional bluegrass music. From the guys that Jerry and Ricky had played with, the Country Gentlemen, Ricky with the Stanley Brothers, or
Mhm.
Ralph, and me, of course, with the Shenandoah Cut-Ups, Terry with Charlie Moore. So everybody were rooted back into the traditional bluegrass music.
Mm.
And everybody had a desire to do something a little bit different, like the country grass thing, to throw something out there that would say, when you heard it,
Mhm.
that you know that it's Boone Creek. That the traditional music is great and you can do it great, but you ain't gonna do it as great as the original person that done it. So we tried to do something that was a little different that we thought people might like. Our stage shows would involve everything from the hard driving traditional old
Mhm.
standards. Uh, we would do gospel, quartet music with no music, just the vocals, the acapella. We would do that.
Mhm.
We would do Western swing,
Mhm.
and then we would do new stuff like One Way Track that was different. And our shows, I felt like you had a little bit of all types of music because everybody in that band loved not just traditional bluegrass, we loved all types of music. and any music that was really good, we enjoyed. And I think what made Boone Creek different, you would hear the gospel vocals, and then we might turn around and do a swing number, or we might do something different. So it made a really unique sound. That was what we were looking for, and I felt like that we accomplished that. Back in those days, you in the first days of bluegrass, as far as I was hearing it, you would hear some gospel music within the sets, but people kind of got away from that a little bit. When you would go to a show, when I grew up a little bit, it would just be driving song after driving song, and you wouldn't hear the gospel stuff. And I think Boone Creek set a was one of the first bands to really adopt the gospel vocals, the acoustic gospel music into their sets. I think and then people like Doyle Lawson and Quicksilver came on and done it after that, involved a lot more gospel music in it, but we were really involved in that part of it.
Wes, why do you think the band had such a short life despite its talent and impact? Was it simply a matter of timing, or were there deeper reasons, like musical ambitions, outside opportunities, or even personal choices?
Well, you learn when you're a musician, you're around good musicians that very few that last a long time. People have different things that they want to accomplish in their life, musically and otherwise. And I don't know why. I wished it had lasted longer, but when you got musicians of that caliber, they got so many opportunities to do different things. It's just
Mhm.
hard to keep a group together like that. Even the band before Boone Creek, the New South, uh,
Mhm.
wasn't that didn't stay together for that long time. It's just people have different things they're looking at and want to branch out and do different things, and I don't blame them. It's just I wished it had lasted longer, but it didn't. But it was a good ride while it lasted.
Thank you so much. I really like the Boone Creek.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. That's something that I'm proud of. I learned a lot from those guys, and me and Ricky were talking not long ago. We look back at that time period. We were all so young. I was 20,
Mhm.
and I think he was around 20. Terry might have been 23. Jerry might have been 19. So everybody was so young, and traveling and playing their dream. It's just something that you'll never forget. We were just like brothers, at that time. We had
Mhm.
so much, not just musically, just fun as young kids.
Great. Thank you so much, Wes. Well, after Boone Creek, you formed Surefire in the mid 1980s. What did you want to accomplish musically with this band?
I really wanted to just carry on what I've been doing, trying to write songs and do new material. We cut an album that had a lot
Mhm.
of new material on it. The band members were Eric Ellis, which is a great banjo player. Alan Bobby was part of that band to start with, mandolin player, and then later he left, and a guy named Wes Tuttle played mandolin, and my wife played electric bass. And we were just trying to uh, do new material, something that people would like, and carry on kind of what I'd been writing and go
Mhm.
from there. But it was a good band.
Great. Thank you so much. Wes, just for fun, okay? If you could get, if you could put together your dream bluegrass band,
Mm.
let me say that again. If you could put together your dream bluegrass band, with anyone from any era, who would be in it? You can include musicians you played with or admired from Allah, living or gone. And you don't even have to put yourself in the band if you'd rather just be the leader. Where you could hire Bill Monroe as your mandolin and tenor vocals, and Al Scruggs as your banjo player and baritone vocals. So let's see what your band would look like.
Oh my. Oh, that's a real hard question there. It would be hard for me to put together that kind of a band. There's so many great uh, musicians, you know. And of course, you know, you put Scruggs on the banjo and Bill on the mandolin. But I tell you, I just, I may be a partial Boone Creek man, but
Mhm.
to me, that was one of about as perfect a bands as I could have imagined at that time, or still at this time. It probably is, for a lot of people, not the best. You know, you would always think that you'd always want Earl Scruggs, you know, on your banjo, or maybe J.D. Crowe on your banjo picker.
Mhm.
Guitar, you probably use Tony Rice. All right, you know, I love Tony Rice's guitar playing. He's so great, you know. But then I like people like David Palmer that played real strong rhythm. Dale McCurry could be a good guitar player, you know. Um,
Mhm.
but you know, like I was saying a minute ago, to me, for my perfect band, it was Boone Creek. You know,
Mhm.
I know it's not one of the perfect band, but for me, it'd be hard for me to choose anybody better than we had at that time period. You know, it's hard for me to pick anybody over who we had.
All right. Thank you so much. That was a tough question, wasn't it?
Oh, it's real tough. I mean, they put together so many great bands. You know,
Right.
It sounds like Boone Creek was the most memorable one for you.
it was. You know, like as far as not just the music, but the friendship and the fun we had.
That's great.
Yeah. Tell us about the memories of Terry.
Terry, I miss him. I was telling you earlier that we grew up together in North Carolina, playing fiddlers conventions, and would play private parties, and we'd just get together and jam. If we didn't play in a band together, we'd meet up at a fiddlers convention and jam, you know, and things. And uh, it was just one of the greatest experiences of my life when I got the call about going with Boone Creek, and Terry. He came up to my parents. I remember he drove up from Monroe to where I lived, up Mount Airy area, and we met and drove to Kentucky together, and we're just two young boys, you know, young men chasing their dream, you know, and was so happy and had so much fun during that tenure of that band, and even afterwards, you know. Talked to Terry a couple of weeks before he left us, and I miss him. He was a special person.
Mhm. Much wish. Well, you've written some wonderful songs that were later recorded by other artists. If you had to pick just one song that holds a special meaning for you, what would that be? And could you share the story behind it, how it came to be, and what it meant to hear it performed by someone else?
Well, there's probably a couple. The first one would be Raining in L.A.
Hmm.
We cut it with me and Herschel cut it, and we did it in our own arrangement. And then, of course, third time out, Russell Moore came and done it later and with a different arrangement. And I just love the way that he did it. We did it real slow pace, and Russell up tempoed it.
Hmm.
And I just still today love hearing him sing it. That was one of my favorite cuts that somebody had cut of mine.
Mhm.
And then I guess probably One Way Track that me and Ricky wrote together. I had had an idea and had come up with some of the lyrics to it, and he helped me uh, finish it. Actually, on the road, we were traveling, going somewhere to play, and we finished it and started playing it, and it just got to be one of our most popular songs, and one that we just look forward to playing every night. It's one of my favorite cuts.
So did One Way Track kind of establish you as a songwriter?
Well, I'm hoping I kind of got established a little bit before then, maybe like with Raining in LA
Okay.
and different songs like that. Raining in LA was a long time before the One Way Track
Oh, okay.
CD, but I'm hoping I was beginning to evolve into a songwriter. I had tried and written a lot of songs before One Way Track, but I guess I might be best known for the One Way Track cut.
Oh, thank you.
Well, before we close, I'd love to ask something a bit more personal about your own voice. Your voice has such a distinctive lived in quality. Some might say it's rough around the edges, but that texture is exactly what makes it feel so real, so heartfelt, so yours. How have you felt about your voice over the years? And has it shaped the way you write or decide who should sing your songs?
Well, thank you for the compliment on my voice. I've I learned a lot about singing uh, from Ricky. Uh, I always loved the Stanley Brothers. I always loved soul, you know.
Mhm.
And my voice, I don't know if it's rough or edgy, or I just try to use more soul all the soul that I can, and when I'm phrasing. And like I say, I learned a lot of that from him. But I had done that all my life. That's just the type of singing that I liked, whether it was a country song by George Jones, the
Mhm.
soulfulness, Merle Haggard, or um, Ralph Stanley, Carter Stanley. Uh, I just come from liking not just a, it don't have to be a real precise, clear voice. I just like hearing the soulfulness that comes out of those people. And I guess that's something that I've tried to do.
Mhm.
I don't know if I've always accomplished it, but that's what I've tried to do. And I think it kind of puts you in a position to where when you hear a certain person, like a George Jones or a Ralph Stanley, you know it's them. You know that's when
Mhm.
you hear that voice, you know that's who that is. And I hope that that's what's happened with my voice.
Mhm.
That's what I've tried to accomplish anyway.
Thank you so much, Wes. Wes, you are giving us a truly special moment by sharing your singing with us. The song is called Mom's Old Picture Book. Before you begin, could you tell us a little bit about the story behind the song?
Well, of course, Mother's Day is coming up in a couple of weeks from now, and I think of this song every year about this time. I'm sure, like everybody else, we miss our mothers. You know, it. Every year I sing this song, you know, around the house and different places. You know, I just when you were a kid back in those days, people mothers took pictures, you know. That's all you had. You go back and the older people, they wouldn't be looking at their phone. They didn't have a phone to take pictures. It was the camera and you had the 8x10 that you had the picture. And I can remember when I was a child, you know, my mother going back through pictures. She always wanted to go back and look at the past and how kids or children, how they've grown up and the good memories, some bad memories, you know, and you look at those pictures and it brought back some special times to you. So that's actually how the song came about to me. I was thinking of my mother and the pictures that she had taken. And I wrote a song called Mom's Old Picture Book. But I was going to show you, this is my old guitar. This is my friend here that I've had, I bought this with Boone Creek in 76, 75 or 76.
Mhm.
And this has been my friend ever since. It's a great guitar. You'll have to keep in mind that it's 8 o'clock in the morning here. So you might hear that rough edge on the voice for sure. Pictures Mama made down through the years helps us cherish all the memories we hold near. Some of times that were bad, some of times that were sad, and the ones where the smiles were so clear. Somehow that whole ragged picture book I always will hold near. Oh, how sweet are the memories that we shared down through the years. Oh, how sweet are the memories. Mom's old picture book she gave to all us kids. Mom's old picture book would always bring a tear. Though some pages had got torn and the cover it was worn, many hands held it gently through the years. But our mom was always proud when she got the old book out, just to show a friend some pictures of us kids. Oh, how sweet are the memories that we shared down through the years. Oh, how sweet are the memories. Mom's old picture book gave to all us kids. Mom's old picture book would always bring a tear.
Thank you so much. That's a beautiful song. Yes.
Thank you.
Well,
I
I'm
can
so-
relate to it, as my mother did the same thing with the camera and the albums.
That's great. Yeah.
We're about the same generation, I would guess.
Yeah, it brings back a lot of memories. It really does.
Well, I'm sorry to say this, but we are running out of time. Wes, thank you so much for sharing your incredible stories and a beautiful song with us today. It was truly an honor to have you here.
It was my pleasure. It was nice meeting both of you. And like I was saying before, I thank you for inviting me and getting our music out for a lot of folks to hear.
I wanted to thank you for sharing so many personal memories and experiences and for singing for us. It was great.
Thank you
Okay,
very
and to
much.
all of you watching, thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed this interview as much as we did.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more interviews like this.
That's right. And stay tuned for our next episode where we'll be talking with Michael Anderson. Until then, take care and keep the music alive.
See you next time.